All right. So, Billy, if you want to go ahead and just introduce yourself to everybody, um, kind of tell them who you are, how long you've been doing this, and I know you got a handful of companies that you're a part of, so you could talk about those too if you want to.
Yeah, not a problem at all. Well, so do you. What do you got, like six of them now or something like that? Six businesses?
Just two. Yeah.
Aren't you starting the third one? I saw that the other day.
I don't know, not right now. I mean, I just have kind of just plans for the rigid inspections. Really, I've been really kind of jumping on top of this and trying to keep it going and growing. So,
Well, that's cool. So I'm Billy Boerner, and I am the owner of STL Home Inspection Services. I am Zach's competition, actually.
yeah,
So you don't see that often, do you, Zach? Two guys sitting there talking on a podcast in the same market.
yeah.
But so anyway, I've been doing this for what, 15 years now, and gosh, long time. Sounds like it. But then I meet guys who've been doing it for 30 or 40 years. And I'm like, oh my God, what keeps you going, right? But so that's just about me. I'm a single man operation, much like Zach, and I've been doing it for quite some time now.
And you've also got like a sewer company that you had started up last year.
Yeah, so I started up a company called Elite Sewer Cam, and basically, just what it does is it helps other inspectors, with sewers, stuff like that. For some reason, Zach can explain it to you, but they don't like doing their own sewers, so they hire other people to come in and do it for them, and I really enjoy doing it. It's doing quite well now, and but only started about a year ago, but I've been doing sewers now for years, and use third parties just like you and things like that. But I decided to do my own thing because basically it's not hard. Number one, and sewers are very easy actually. Number two, it was just waiting on the people to get there. Whenever you got three or four people coming, termite inspector, radon, sewer, it can get hectic on the scheduling, and sometimes they don't show up when you're there at the job. So I decided to start doing it myself, see how that worked out, and so far it's doing pretty good.
Cool, awesome. What sewer cam do you have? Just to let people know.
Oh, I got the Scout 3.
Scout 3.
Yeah, it's done really well. Had no problems with it yet. It's about a mid model purchase that you can get. It's about $3,000 to $4,000 just for the camera. Then you got to get the little wand if you want to locate, and so about $6,000 total. But way cheaper than a rigid or anything like that. $10,000, $11,000, $12,000 for those machines.
Right, and more compact too. I've noticed that yours is
very lot smaller.
Carry the whole system in one hand. The reel and the camera and the keyboard and the screen are all in one little package there. It's not very big. So
yeah, it's only like probably 1.5 feet by a foot. I mean, it's not big at all. Very light. I can easily carry it up on the roof and walk around with it. Much lighter than carrying the whole wheel on that rigid.
Right, yeah, and I've seen guys struggle with that too. That use those cameras. It's a big, heavy system. The rigid is.
Well, you can do more damage with it too, in my opinion. Going through people's houses.
Yeah,
I've had people hit walls in the past, things like that. So,
so for those who have kind of been on the fence, because I know you inspected houses for a long time without doing sewer yourself, like you hired somebody else to do it. What was like the final decision for you in like switching over and getting your own camera and doing it yourself?
Well, I had some friends, just like you, but other people I talked to that was doing it themselves, and they kept telling me forever. It's very easy to do. It's not hard. The biggest thing about sewers is that sometimes you just can't get into the sewer. So, either it has a cast iron, cap on it or something like that. So you got to go through a roof, you got to carry that machine up on a roof. And some guys, a lot of guys don't do that. And to be honest with you, Zach, you're the oddball in the industry.
Yeah,
You at your age is not common. So people that are looking at possibly doing it might be in their 50s, 60s, and they don't want to do that kind of stuff. So, but people
sure.
your age, my age, I'm on the fence of going over into the elderly, the older age. But, we can handle that kind of stuff for now. And but even the older guys, the machine that I use. It's not hard, to use, but people just don't want to get into all that. So, but
Yeah,
that's
that's
what
kind of
made
where
me
I'm
get
at.
into it.
Yeah, I know me and you have talked, and I've been on the fence, and I'm still not trying to jump
What keeps you
over
on
it.
the fence? Why? It's seriously, it's 20 extra minutes.
It's the I guess it's the idea of the poop camera in my vehicle. I don't have a truck anymore. I have a Jeep, and so I'll have to carry that thing. And I know everybody says you clean it as you pull it out and whatnot, but I'm just I don't want to be messing with that. And it's just easier, I guess, to pay somebody to come do it. But the it I don't know. I think that's really the main thing. I just kind of don't really want to get into it. Um, it'll add a little
Honestly
bit.
say, I would honestly say, out of every one of them I've done, and I've done many now myself, and rare. It's extremely rare event that you run into waste.
Gotcha.
You just don't
And it,
you don't see it very often. If you do, it's sometimes it can be bad, but I seriously promise you, maybe twice I've seen that. That's it. And
how
because
many
I thought,
towels do you go through? How many towels do you go
well,
through?
every time I pull through, pull it out, I always wipe it down, But I'd probably do a box of towels every, couple of weeks or so.
Gotcha. Do
But
you ever
yeah.
like clean it like thoroughly after a week's over? Like instead of
Oh
just
yeah.
using the dry towels as you're going, like getting like an actual like
Mhm.
wet towel or like some
Yep. I
bleach. I
roll it
don't know
all
what you
out and clean it off. Just use a cleaner. But no,
Gotcha.
it's not. I never smell it in my car. Nothing. I always
Uh,
thought that too. Whenever I was going to do it, I don't
yeah,
want that smell in my car.
yeah,
And then once I started, I don't know if I'm just accustomed to it now, but honestly, I never once have really smelled hardly anything in my car. And I drive
yeah.
the
I get.
Civic now, or the CRV now,
Did
so it's
when
in
did you
my
get
car.
that? Did I know you
I've
got
had
that?
that about 6 months now, 7.
Okay, because you had a GMC truck, right? For
Yeah, I got rid of that. That was too expensive.
I think you go through more vehicles than I do, and I go through a lot of
I
vehicles.
The
I think
problem
since
is
I've
that I put on so many miles. I'm like, I wonder if I should
yeah.
get rid of this before,
Well, when we first met, because I met you like before I really even started. You found me online or something, and you met with me to see if I wanted to work for you rather
Yeah.
than be your competition, and that was a hard decision for me to make to go on my own, especially since I hadn't had any business. But you had that Forerunner, and then I think you got the black F-150,
Did
and
you meet me when I
then
had the Forerunner?
yeah,
Wow,
yep.
that's been a long time ago.
Yeah, 6 years ago, over 6 years ago. So you had that
Uh,
Forerunner, you had the F-150. I think you had like a
mm,
Subaru, and then you went
the
back.
Subaru I should have kept. The Subaru is the best car ever. I
Yeah.
don't know why I got rid of that.
And what do you have? Is that when you got the GMC truck after the Subaru,
Yeah, yeah,
and then
that's when I
now
got the
you're on to a
GMC
Honda
truck.
CRV?
Mm,
How's the
yeah.
gas mileage on the CRV?
Oh, it's beautiful.
Is
Yeah, I'm
it?
getting around 30 miles to a gallon on that.
Oh, so it's
So,
probably a lot better than that truck. Did your truck have a V8?
oh yeah. So my truck was what, 70, $80, $100 to fill up, depending on what the gas was. Yeah, my
Golly.
car is $30, literally.
That's
And
nice.
it'll ride smooth. It's you would think there's not much room in there, but I got plenty of room. I got two ladders up in there. I got all my gear, and I'm 6'6", so
Yeah. You use a little giant, right? That like 20-in-1 or whatever it is. It's like it can be an A-frame or an extension
uh,
ladder. Or what do
I
you
can't.
have?
I got a Gorilla ladder. I know the bigger
Oh,
one is the
Gorilla. That's
Gorilla
right.
ladder. Yeah, but I think the other one's a little giant. But it's not the one that goes in 16 different directions or nothing like that. But it's just a little, about 12 or 13 footer that gets me in the attics inside. I used to use the telesteps and all that, but I
Yeah.
was always afraid that I was going to hit the floor with those. So I
Yeah.
decided
That's
to.
that's what I
I
use.
had,
So I use the Extend the Climb brand, and that's all I have now.
yeah, you're crazy. You get up on the roof on that thing. I wouldn't do it.
So I know this is probably going to make some inspectors mad, but I go roof to roof. So like a 2-story, I'll throw up my bigger one onto the garage roof, and I'll take my little one up with me, set
And
that
go
up,
up
and get
there.
onto the second-story roof. And honestly, I think there might be 4 or 5 houses that I haven't been able to get on, and that's when I just get the drone out and fly it. But that setup works, and it's nice because I don't have to have a truck. And for all you new guys that are listening, or even guys who have been doing it a while, Billy knows you don't need a truck to do these. You don't need a
No.
ladder rack with a giant ladder. I mean, you can get away with these extended climbs and a drone and pretty much
I
get
highly
everything done.
recommend you do not buy a truck in this business.
Yeah.
We drive way too damn much, way too
Yep.
far, and your profits are going to go in the toilet.
Yep. And I mean, so Billy, you live in Illinois, but you do all your work in Missouri. Um,
Yeah,
I live in
I'm
Missouri now.
thinking.
I
I'm
used to
thinking about getting. I'm thinking
get
about getting my
Illinois.
license over here. Yeah, 'cause
Might as
it gets
well.
kind of tiring going all the way over there.
A lot of people dropped out, so it's makes the market a little easier for you to enter into. A lot of inspectors quit.
Well, it's all of a
But yeah,
sudden a lot busier than I thought it would be. It's crazy.
yeah.
This
How
last
was your
couple of weeks have
December?
been slammed.
How was your December? How did that go?
December was kind of slow. I mean, I did okay, but you know, remember this: I never do more than 20 to 30 home inspections a month, ever. I don't want to do more than that. That's it.
Yeah,
So if that's to me, that's full time for me. But I'm getting old now. These guys that claim to do, 10 or 15 a week. God bless them, but they're going to put themselves in the grave.
yeah,
And I've stopped doing that. But the biggest reason why I stopped doing that is because I brung everything in house, so my ticket is much higher now. Ancillaries
yeah.
is what makes your money. So, um, so I don't have to do all that. But what was your question again?
Um, how your December was?
Oh, well, December is always kind of slow, but that one I think I came out to about 18 jobs or something like that, 17.
Wow, that's actually really busy. I was talking to
Yeah. So
KC on the last episode, and I think everybody was slow last year, comparatively to the couple of years before. But like I told him, I had 3 in December. I did some radons here and there, and like a couple of roof inspections, but like actual full home inspections, I only did 3. And then
wow, I might be a
I ended
little
up,
off here, but yeah, I wasn't that far off. But you remember though, I get a lot of investors in St. Louis and they're buying. They've
yeah,
been buying. And unfortunate, for me, it's fortunate. I'm glad to be working, but unfortunate for me that it's a lot of junk houses. So, but
yeah,
I don't mind those houses in the winter because it keeps the bills paid. But
hmm
yeah, I would say anywhere from 17 to 18, somewhere in there. And January was probably 15. And but this month, February, shoot, I was in the 20s easily.
yeah.
And then
I think I was about there too.
March, I had 9 homes this week.
That's
just this
pretty
week,
good.
and
Yeah.
that's too much for me. Like
Yeah.
I told my office no more, which is kind of strange, because I didn't think people would be buying, 7 and 8% interest rate like they're doing, and it's not stopping them.
Yeah.
Even though
I
I'm
picked up a
talking,
lot, like mid-January till, I mean, really till now. I mean, it's still going, but I was doing weekends, and I don't really do weekends, but I was doing Saturdays, just trying to get as much as I could because I didn't know, if this was just a fluke or how long it was going to last. But hopefully it stays like this. It's been a pretty nice month weather-wise, so I'm hoping people keep getting out and,
I
putting
think that's
offers
why
in.
too. The weather's been kind of weird for February. It's been warm.
Mm-hmm.
But March is typically, historically, my whole every year is March is slow. Don't know
Really?
why, but so far this March, this first week, it's taken off. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but today, I had a cancellation, so that's the reason why I'm at home. But
Probably for the
I've
best
learned,
with this rain.
huh?
I said it's probably for
Yeah.
the best with the rain.
Well, get this. My client, it was at 9:30 today. So I called the client and I told him, I said, hey, listen, it's the weather outside. It's raining. It's raining hard, and the wind. I said, I'm going to have to disclaim your roof to some degree if you want me to come now. Well, can't you come back? Well, sure, I can come back, but that'll be an extra fee. Oh, they got mad about it. You know, what do you mean an extra fee? I said, well, it's an extra trip for me. I said, I got to come back, extra time and all that. I said, how about we just reschedule for another day? Boy, they were mad because they took the day off and didn't want to reschedule. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, well, I can come today, but I'm going to disclaim portions of your roof. I can't see it all because it's wet. It hides hail damage some. I said, you just can't see. You can't do what you can do if it was dry. Well, finally they gave up and they decided to do it another day. So I just took the day off. So I'm okay with that. But
Yeah.
a lot of guys, I understand, we get out there, the wind, rain, hail, and all that, and just disclaim it. I get that. You can't be taking up your, but I'm not sitting here like some companies, that is just booked back to back on inspections, so I can make those moves sometimes. And I think it helps people. And but she wasn't having it.
Yeah.
She was like, that's your problem that it's raining. I'm like, listen, lady, that's not my problem that it's raining. That's your problem. You want me?
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, I can understand her frustration with taking the day off, but I don't think people realize, like, when the roof is wet, that adds a lot of like, you can't see granule loss very easy. It hides a lot of stuff. So, not to mention, if it's a little bit steep, it's a
you
hazard.
can't even,
So,
yeah, you can't even get up there looking anyway. And you can't send the drone up because it's raining out, wind's blowing.
all right.
So,
Yep.
yeah,
How many you got lined up for next week?
right now, 5.
For everyone listening, I had to pause because my 4-year-old was pounding on the door back there.
That's all right.
So, what do you foresee, like, the market being like this year? You think it's going to be decent, or you think it's going to kind of be a little bit on the slower side?
See, that this last 2 weeks have thrown me for a loop, so that's hard to say.
Yeah.
I think it really depends on where you're at, where you're living. You got to remember, you and I, we're lucky because we're in a metropolitan city, okay, and we're in a money city. St. Louis has got some money to it, and so people may buy houses here. I don't think we're the norm. Like we're busier, I heard, than Kansas City. Did you know that?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I hear a lot that Kansas City inspectors are slow or this or that. A lot of them. So, and I've been talking to St. Louis, some St. Louis home inspectors here, but seems like all of them are keeping steady or keeping decent. So that's hard to say. How how to foresee the market here, but I think once people gets past um, the thought process that they're paying 7%, you know, um, everybody has to have a house,
Hmm.
and how I'm hearing people selling it or realtors sell it to them is, hey, you can refi, don't let that bug you. So maybe they'll fall for that.
Well,
What about
and I
you?
was talking to somebody, and you got to remember too, like right now, people aren't paying 20, 40, 80,000 over asking. So you're
That's
actually
a big.
getting the house for the same price that you were last year or the year before. Just your interest rates higher because you're
Mhm.
not, but you don't have to overpay as much. So uh,
Can
some
you
people might be
imagine the
locked in.
people? Can you imagine the people that did pay 50 or 100 grand over what their life's going to be like in the next couple?
Oh yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think they'll recover. I don't
No,
think
I
it's
mean,
going to come
I
back.
know some that did it, and it's like you're automatically upside down on your house unless you put down a ton on a down payment. As soon as you move in, it's like because a lot of
We
those
did that.
places they're not appraising for what you paid for it, so that
Mm-mm.
means you're upside down automatically, and like unless like I said you put a whole bunch of money down, but people, all these cash buyers too. Like you hear these stories of like last year and the year before, people just paying 500 or 600 cash. It's like, where are these people coming from? They've got that kind of money. That's crazy.
You notice? Do you have many clients that like are? How old are you, Zach? Are you
Um,
30 yet?
I'm 32 now. I'll be 33 in May.
Okay. So you get a lot of people your age that's buying like $800,000 houses up in Ladue and all that.
Um, there's
I
a
have
few
them
people my
every
age.
month.
Yeah,
I'm like, what do you do for a living? Where did I miss the boat here?
yeah. It's hard to say. There's so many places they could work around here that they're getting paid quite a bit of money. But
Mhm.
with all these online jobs too, like content creators and stuff, like people selling stuff online, like it's hard to tell what people do. But yeah, there's occasionally where I get people that are my age, maybe a little younger, and they're buying these mega houses, and it's like, whoa. But
Especially at 7%. I'm like, oh my God.
yeah, I'm
I had
not
one this
jealous
other
though.
day. No, no. I mean, my house ain't nothing spectacular, but it's does me just fine, and I couldn't imagine. That's the biggest reason why I still live in Illinois, though, is the cost of living over there. You saw it when you built your house. It had to be more expensive than being over here compared to what you
No,
had, right?
not really. So I got locked in before all the lumber prices and the interest rates and everything went up. But um, uh, the taxes over here are cheaper. So
Really?
yeah. So we were talking about interest rates. But yeah, M- Missouri the taxes are a little bit lower. And like we were looking in like the Glen Carbon, Edwardsville area. Um,
Hmm.
But over here in O'Fallon, it's a lot cheaper, I think, or more reasonable than like Glen Carbon, Edwardsville. It probably would have been about the same if we did like Bethalto or something. But yeah, I got locked in before lumber and all that went up. And by the time we moved in to build our house, just the structure and not including like design stuff, it was like 30,000 extra dollars. So
Oh, really?
yeah, it would have cost us 30,000 more if we would have waited a month, because that's when they ended up raising prices for lumber and stuff. But I think what
That's crazy.
we're pretty lucky with is just how much building there's going on. And I don't know if you do a lot of new construction. I've been doing a lot of new construction inspections, and like St. Charles County, there's a lot of new neighborhoods going up. Uh,
Hmm.
so, I think that's good for us because eventually those people are going to sell. They're going to need an inspection, and it just allows more people, more business.
You get a lot. You say you do get a lot of new construction.
Yeah, that's kind of almost
lately?
what's been keeping me alive for the most part this year is new construction inspections, and I started pre-drywall too, so I'm doing pre-drywall inspections now. Um,
How are you?
yeah,
Did you get your code certifications and all that?
no, so I beginning of January I started working for a buddy who's got a construction company, and he frames new houses. So I started working for him for helping him frame houses. So I picked up a lot there, but I mean, it's really just kind of knowing, like you inspect an unfinished basement. There's a lot of similarities there. I mean, you're seeing a lot of it. And like you inspect an attic. The only difference is with the pre-drywall is there's no insulation, so you get to see a lot more. And then like plumbing and all that's roughed in, so you're not like testing fixtures or plugging into receptacles. You're just looking at the rough electrical and plumbing and stuff. But yeah, it's. I took an ASHI class a couple years ago, the ASHI pre-drywall, but it's not difficult in my opinion. I think it's pretty easy for anyone to do, and I've been kind of making my own template too, which I plan to probably sell that once I get finished with it. Pre-drywall inspection template.
Why don't you sell your template you have now for home inspections? You got a pretty good one.
Um, yeah, it's because I borrowed a lot of stuff from KC. So if people ask me about mine, I'll send them to KC Bartley's template, because I actually bought his and I took different comments and sections and stuff out of it. My layout is like my own. I created my layout and everything, and
Yeah.
probably 90% of the comments are my own. But I wouldn't feel right doing it with probably 10% of the comments being from KC's template.
Gotcha.
Which did you make your template from scratch when you switched to Spectora, or were you able to transfer it from your other software?
No, I built it off of my template that I had from Home Inspector Pro.
Are you
I just,
enjoying Spectora?
oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
way better than I should have listened to you years ago on that.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, it's they designed it for people who can't see and people who has no patience. Before a lot of the other softwares. Come here, lay down. A lot of the other softwares, you generate a report to look at it, and it takes 30 seconds. It
Yeah.
takes forever. So it seems like. Well, not this. It ain't the case with Spectora. Usually, 2 seconds it's up. So I'm the type of guy that does a little bit of work, then I got to look at it. Does a little work. I got to look at the report. I can't just do the whole report, then generate it and read it. I got to sit there
Yeah.
and look at it. And that's really saved me a lot of time. But being able to build the narratives the way that they can be built and stuff like that, and on the fly, way easier. Plus, I like the back end of it. How it does all the stats and stuff like that. I mean, there's really no other reason why you need another platform.
Right.
For your to see how many who the realtors are or how many jobs you did or whatever. It does it all. So my fear is though is that I don't trust any of them. You know,
Yeah.
um, that's just me because everybody's sold out now. Since I've been in business, I never thought Dominic and all them with HIP would sell out. The Porch or whoever. And they all have. And so I'm waiting on Spectora, and I just don't think they're gonna sit still and be doing that forever. I think they're gonna
I
sell
hope they
eventually.
do. I hope they don't sell out. I hope they could stay strong.
I hope not
But
either. But
that Porch comes along and they're waving that check. It does. Money does move
no,
people. Yeah, money
$20
money will
million
change
dollars,
people.
whatever. I don't
Yeah.
blame them. They built it. But my fear is just like anything else is you put so much stock into it. And when I say stock is that all your reports are there, all your contracts are there. Everything's there, and then all of a sudden they sell. Well, what's going to happen to all that information, or what's going to happen. You know, what if it closes down overnight?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, and then
so
I mean, your clients are going to be getting spammed with all this different stuff, and I just don't like that. I don't like people being able to get my clients' information, and I don't know how ISN works. I had ISN for like a couple months, but ended up getting rid of it. And then once I switched to Spectora, it was just not necessary. Did you have ISN before?
I did. I did
Are
have
they?
ISN for about a year. It was good, but they sold out the porch too. And but now I'm reading. I don't know if some people just don't know what they're doing with turning it off or whatever. But now I'm reading that you have to go through Porch in order to get the report sent or read the client, and that's making a lot of people upset.
Yeah,
So, and they made it that way, but then they said, oh, you can turn it off, whatever. So I don't know if they're forcing people now. I'm kind of confused on that, or can you still turn it off? But I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't want my clients to be having to go through a third party, and seeing a bunch of ads and all this just to get the report open. But you can send a PDF copy too. But you're paying these companies good money, to be able to click a button. That's what I like about Spectora. I send, all of a sudden, you got 5 different reports going out at once, and
yep,
it goes straight to them, and I ain't got to worry about it no more. I close my laptop and I'm done.
yep,
But I really like Spectora a whole lot, and I really like how clear the reports are and stuff like that. I wasn't sold on it at first, remember, because I was always about having my own look and stuff like that. I
yeah.
could care less anymore about
Well, and I
that.
know you were nervous too about them selling out back when I first got you to sign up, but you didn't really stick with it. You were nervous about them
Yeah,
kind of selling out. I'll probably have Kevin on here on this podcast at some point, but I don't think they will. But like I said, I feel like most people can be bought, and if Porch comes knocking and they got a big check, you never know what could happen.
just
But and
ask
for
him.
those
Say,
listening
hey,
that,
Kevin, if I wave a $25 million check to you, would you walk? That's what he says.
yeah. Well, they've got the biggest market share, I think, for Spectora has like the most inspectors, I want to say, on their platform. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's if Porch is going to go after anybody, it would definitely be Spectora. But and then for those listening that don't know who Porch is, it's a company that's basically been buying out all these home inspection companies. They've been buying out softwares and anything that houses client data so that they can utilize that to sell them stuff essentially. And all these companies that are selling out to Porch, in my opinion, are selling their souls. And
Isn't
I don't
Porch
like
like
it.
Angie's though, stuff like that?
Yeah, well, I
I think
think
Porch is like, you can go find contractors and all that.
yeah, and they want to have like I don't know everything about it, but I want to say they have something to do with
I don't
warranties
either.
on like appliances and stuff. But I haven't really cared enough to look into it. I know that I don't want to use them just because I don't want my clients getting spammed. So, um, but yeah,
So, so what do you think about I might be saying the word wrong, but there's a new platform out there that Scott, I think it's Knuckson. He's out of California. He's a home inspector, and he started a company called Oopla or Opla. Have you heard
I
of
haven't
it?
heard of it. No,
It's like
I know who you're
OO.
talking about.
Yeah, it's like a marketing website. I mean, it does about everything you could think of to include AI. Have you looked into AI yet?
Well, I've heard some stuff about like Chat GPT
Yeah,
and stuff
Chat
like
G.
that, where
Yeah,
like these robots are able to write stuff better than a human or as good as a human, and you wouldn't be able to tell the
see, they've
difference.
included that into their platform. So
Oh,
basically, you could respond to reviews and just say, "Hey, GP, whatever, respond to this review for Stephen," and all of a sudden they'll write this awesome review response. and they're doing it, and he's using it to write different things for websites. He's using it to write different things for his blogs and all that, and
Interesting.
responses to people. And he showed it. I watched his video. He had a podcast, and he showed it in real time how it wrote, and he read what they said, and it was like the most well written thing I've seen.
Really? Yeah,
Yeah,
man, it's scary because it's like those bots will get on social media and they'll start commenting on stuff, and they could solicit like people to get angry or solicit a you know, like anything. They could solicit a riot, like a Russian. If Russia has that, they could just make these like. I'm sure they're already doing it though. I think these bots are already doing tweets and responding to tweets, and people just think they're regular people. But yeah, that's scary. I'll probably just stick to writing my own blog articles myself. There's they'll have the human
well,
error.
what's cool about it is you can let it write it, but then it doesn't automatically post it, so you could alter it.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying? It will save you so
yeah,
much time in writing the original blog.
that's scary
But you could
though.
you could tell it like to write something on technical on something on a furnace, and it pulls all this data on the internet and it puts it all together. It's pretty neat.
And you could probably eventually you'll be able to set it up and have it text your wife or your girlfriend or whatever. Anytime your girlfriend or wife texts, just have a robot, an AI texting her back. You don't have to respond to people anymore.
I think you
That would be
can do
good
that.
for like clients and stuff. Like if
Yeah.
somebody calls wanting an inspection, you have an AI robot that can quote everything for you and schedule it.
Don't hold me to this, but I'm almost certain that it can already do it.
Oh,
It's
really?
out there where the phone would answer. It sounds just like a human, and they will talk to your clients and give all the details about your inspection.
Yeah, that's
I
crazy.
don't know how I trust it. I don't trust it.
Yeah, yeah,
My luck could go crazy or something. Start
yeah. I
cussing them
don't know
out.
about that. Speaking of that stuff, how's Book It Pros doing?
They're doing really well. So she's up to I believe 12 or 13 companies now,
Oh
and
wow,
large companies. Yeah,
yeah,
she's it's taken off. Not like America's Call Center or nothing like that, but I mean she's got a lot of multi firms that she's doing business for right now, and but she had a couple people quit that wanted to go do their own thing here recently. So
mm,
and that put her, and that put her in a bind for a minute, but she's got people trained up already and good to go. And that's the good thing about that company is it's you can train someone to do the work pretty quick, and it's all about hiring the right person with the right attitude. It's all about attitudes on answering the phone. So,
yeah.
but yeah, so she's proud of her. She's doing well. I've stepped out of it completely.
Have
I
you?
don't.
Do you
I
want
don't
to
do anything
explain to
with it.
everybody what that is? What Book It Pros is?
So bookitpros.com is a website that, it's an actual call center, just like America's Call Center or any of them, that takes orders and for home inspectors. So basically, my daughter started it, and she worked for me for the first 6, 7 years before she started that. And so she's trained on everything like radon, termite, sewer. She knows what all those ancillaries that we use, and that's what she focuses on is upsells and ancillaries. She tries to push that as much as possible. But yeah, so she was trained by a home inspector, and it's really taken off for her, and it's really helped her with that. And I told her, you can't be working for me all your life, because you ain't making no money doing that. I'm your dad, so you need to go do this. And now she's doing well. I don't have to worry about her no more. And but it's a lot of work. It's a
Yeah,
lot of work. Every time I try to talk to the girl, it's like, Dad, phone's ringing. Dad, the phone's ringing all the time.
I imagine so. With 13 or 14 companies, that's got to be a lot.
Oh, it's
I can give a
all the time.
testimonial to Book It Pros because I used them for probably about a year. And then when things got really slow last year, I ended up just going back to answering my own phones. But they did a good job. They got everything scheduled. Obviously there's like an onboarding process where you got to kind of teach them how you do things and how you schedule things and the added prices or added fees and stuff like that. But it didn't take nearly as long as it did when I used ACC. And ACC I used them for like 3 months, and then they were still, messing stuff up. And that's when I switched over to Book It Pros. But yeah, I left Book It Pros just because my business got slow and it didn't make sense to, keep them on.
Yeah, no sense to throw money away.
Yeah, but they did
That's for sure.
a great job. I thought they did good. So,
well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I taught her. I said one thing. I said you want to make it successful in the call center business. I said answer the phone. Do not let it go to voicemail as much as possible. And they really strived on making that work or making that happen. I mean, sometimes you're going to have that happen regardless of who you are. But the biggest thing about having a call center over having someone working for you directly is her software is set up to, when it rings, it goes to everybody at once.
And then whoever's available,
if someone's busy, someone's busy, the other person can answer it, and they're all cross-trained to handle that company. So that's the biggest thing about it. You hire one person and you're trying to run a multi-firm business and they're on the phone. Well, guess where that other call's going? You better be going to a backup call center because you're going to lose the call. So,
yeah.
But with you and I, one man operations, stuff like that, I forward my phone to them. Always, I don't like answering my own phone all the time, but could I answer my own phone? Yeah, but it is better. They're better than me at selling. Plus, when I speak on the phone, it sounds like I'm muffling, sometimes stuff like that. So but for anybody that's running 2-3 man shows, 4 man, you ain't got time to be sitting there answering calls and booking orders, all the time. So you got to have some kind of people doing that for you, and they do a good job of doing it, I think. But there's other companies out there that does a good job too, I'm sure. And I've used a few in the past, and I haven't gone from Book It Pros yet, but it is my daughter, so that's probably why.
Yeah.
She was like, "Dad, where are you going?"
But, you're a single man operator. You've been in it for a while. I know that you, like KC, and similar to me, we don't really necessarily rely on real estate agents for referrals. Although we do get some from real estate agents, that's not we're not going after them, and that's not necessarily our bread and butter. Do you want to, I guess, tell people how you get business or where the majority of your business comes from?
Well, if you want to eat, don't follow my lead. Okay?
Yeah.
Don't. Because I had a job. I'm retired Air Force, and I had a job when I started this business. So I built this business off of that job. And so I did it part-time. All right. And I did that for a couple of years before I went full-time into the business. But someone who just jumps out full force and tries to go into it, you better advertise to realtors. You better advertise to the whole the real estate community, banks, lawyers, everybody to try to get a grasp. The quicker, that you want to grow. Because if you did what I did, I never went after realtors when I first started. I didn't I ain't got nothing against realtors. I don't like going up and asking for business. I hate it. Never have.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm in their way or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I know that's a wrong mindset. So I focused more in on learning how to build up the business off of building websites. So I learned how to do a website. And Dominic, believe it or not, told me a lot about, different things over the years. And I just got lucky. And I built a website. And at that time, back in those days, I didn't have Zach beating my door down on my butt, and I had just a bunch of old men, to be honest with you, and they didn't know really, how to build a website. They all had old looking, SEO wasn't a thing to them. So I learned
Hmm.
that, and I got fortunate, and I got picked up by Google, and then Google picked me up, and I've been on page one for the last 12 years, 13 years, almost my whole career. Now I fell a couple places now because of what is that? The big
Ads.
names, yeah,
Oh.
putting me down. But I'm still number three or four on Google, and how you show the address. What's that? Organic. You got organic, and what's that above? Local or something like that.
Hmm.
It shows how many reviews you have.
Yep.
I've always been up there too. So,
Yeah.
and but in the keywords, I think the biggest thing that helped me out was I got the domain
Yeah.
stlhomeinspector.com, and I think that's what really drew it in. And a
Because
lot of
that's
people
exactly
say,
what people
"Oh,
type.
yeah, St.
Yeah.
Louis Home Inspector," So, and I just got lucky. I've never fallen off of it, and I've always been blessed like that. And I thank God, because any day now, I'm thinking, man, I've had my turn. When is it someone else's? And never does it come off.
Hmm.
And I gotta say, I think it's because of I've been there so long now. Age of the website, I think, is a big thing with Google, and the keywords that I'm targeting all these years, and with that URL, I think it's kept me there.
Yep.
So I can't. I don't know why else. Why wouldn't I come off of it? But you've been in the business now 15 years. You build up a clientele data, base too, and that and Google keeps me busy enough to be a one man show. Let me
Hmm.
let me get that straight to you guys. One man show. In no way can I be a multi firm, not without realtors. You want to be a multi firm, you got to go after all the realtors and all this stuff. There's just no way that me, in particular, could, just make it, could ever make it as a multi firm without the whole pie, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, for anyone listening, I should say new guys, especially, um, it's like we talked about in the last podcast. You can't just start and not meet realtors and not network and expect to get business. Like, you have to do that for a while. And if you get to a point where you're getting, constant referrals and stuff like that, and you're able to stop networking if you want to, because networking is not everybody's thing. I network, but I'm terrible at it. Like, I don't like big groups. I don't like going to these things and trying to find somebody and talk to them. I'm not a
Me neither.
salesperson guy at all.
Hate it.
And so, yeah, I'm not good at that. So when I started, absolutely, I went to offices. I talked. I met real estate agents. I did all that. But I knew from the beginning I was going to go after Google reviews, because that's one of the things that puts you up in the ranks, and that I was going to be the person that, people referred to by word of mouth, and that people searched on Google and they found that way. And that's kind of been what's helped me a lot. But I do have real estate agents, so don't get me wrong on that. It's not like there's zero realtors that send me business. I've got a handful that send me quite a bit of business. But it's one of those things where my whole company's not based around only real estate agent referrals. Like, I get a lot of
Wow.
Google, Facebook, stuff like that. And I've done that because I've built a nice website. I blog, I make videos, I post on social media. and I get those reviews to try to, credit, like, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but basically, vet me so that when people are searching, they see, oh yeah, and then they read the reviews, they see my website, stuff like that. So, yeah, it's one of those things where it's not everybody's ideal situation to just network and get business that way through agents. Guys like me and you and Casey, we kind of went a different route, I guess, and have been getting business word of mouth and internet searches. So
You've done a
but
lot
yeah,
better for yourself than what you think, though.
yeah. I mean, I've
The
managed to
guy,
hang on for 6 years.
well, let me tell you guys something. Zach here, once the first time I ever saw his website, I knew. I said, shit. I said, this ain't good, because I could tell he knew what he was doing when it came to making a website, and his image, his ridging on the top of his head there. It all had a professional look to it. And that's the downfall, I think, of a lot of home inspectors is they don't. Okay.
Yep.
They don't have that image. They have cartoon logos. They got, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and stuff like this. And then I actually know home inspectors in St. Louis that uh, doesn't wear nothing at all to the job. I mean,
Oh,
they're
really?
wearing, yeah, they're just wearing clothes, just normal clothes. So it's an image that you need to build, and that's one thing that Zach has done very well. Let me compare the two of us. I've been in business 15 years with the same opportunities in the same streets of St. Louis and O'Fallon that Zach is. He's 6 years in, 254 reviews. I have 154.
Yeah.
Seriously. I
um,
mean, you don't think I'm watching you? You better think again, because I am watching you, and I know exactly what you do. But he goes after that internet presence, the social media. He goes after the videos. That's one thing I think a lot of people fail, including myself. I hate videos. I hate videotaping myself, stuff like that. But that's what's going on today. That's what people wants to see.
mhm.
People wants to see videos of you talking on your website to get to know you and to see what you're doing.
Yep.
And videos and stuff like that. But social media in general, you got to be doing that stuff. And I know it sucks, but that's the reason why I told you about that Oplaw or Oplaw thing. That really helps out a lot. I mean, he does everything there, from blip reviews. You guys know what blip reviews are. He has that built in. He has the AI built in. He has it all. And I think it's like $99 a month for the normal package, but
Hmm.
it might be worth looking into
Yeah.
on that. But
Yeah.
I've been doing it now so long that I'm comfortable, guys, with where I'm at. I'm comfortable. Understand something. I'm comfortable with 5 to 6 jobs a week, 7, 8. All right. If I get that, I make a good living. I
Hmm.
don't need to be Superman and do 10 or 12, 13, 15 jobs a week and want a $300,000 revenue base. That's some people that does. If you want to do that, then you need to start following what Zach's doing. You need to start following, go after realtors. You need to do this and that. I got a friend, Matt. He's in Pocahontas, Illinois, out in the middle of damn nowhere, and doing anywhere from, what is it, Zach, 800 to 1,200 inspections,
Yeah.
depending on the year.
Yeah. A couple of years ago, I think he said that he did a little over 1,000. So he's probably around that 1,000 mark, I'd say.
1,000 inspections. I do 250 to 300.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
You
And
know, so
yeah,
so
I mean,
he's proof, that it can be done.
it
But do
definitely
you
can
want
be
to do it?
done. It's just a matter of if you want to do it. And I feel like a lot of these podcasts and these companies and on these Facebook groups, they're really pushing multi-inspector firms and like growing and all this stuff. And it's like, that's not for everybody. And I got into this job because you could do it as a single man and make a good living and not worry about having to have employees. And I have no desire to have employees right now. So don't follow me if you're wanting to learn how to grow, because I can get you to a certain point, but I'm with you. I want to do 5 or 6 a week, and that's it. And I'd like to have weekends off, but I'll do an occasional Saturday here and there. I'm doing one tomorrow, so which is Saturday, so I don't mind doing the weekends, but I don't have any desire to grow big and be multi-firm. I have a modest life, and I enjoy living a modest lifestyle, and doing 6 a week is plenty for that. That takes care of me just fine.
But you're the person that people needs to follow. You seriously are. I mean, as a one-man show.
Yeah.
Because you was doing as many inspections as me at your 2-year mark. Your 3-year mark. You were a week. You were up there because you did do the initial marketing. You did have the website. You did have the look. You did do the social media. So you got there way faster than me. I'm not even where you're at, and I'm 15 years in. Think about that.
I think you are. I mean, you probably do more than me. I think last
think you surpassed me.
maybe I don't know.
I think you surpassed me.
Not total, but like last year was a little bit rough. I mean, I made it through okay, but I want to say maybe like 220 or 230 last year. So it wasn't anything to brag, like, it wasn't anything spectacular. I mean, I made a good living and I survived, but there's a lot of guys that are that you could follow that are single man operators, but if you're looking to grow and stuff like that, probably IEB is a good place to look.
If you want to do the multi firms.
Yeah, but like I said,
a lot of them does that.
Yeah, no desire for that.
I find it hard. I find it hard to employ people. I tried it. I tried it with the sewer. It doesn't work for me. I don't know why. I mean, I guess I'm just hard to work for or something.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been with you through a lot of different people, and I don't know necessarily that it's anything you did, but like you had that one guy that like stole your car, and then started his own inspection company, and then claimed to be master certified.
And he stole my company name.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
It was only different by like one letter or like one word or something. Like it was like St. Louis Home Inspector or instead of Home Inspections or something like that.
I am STLHomeInspector.com. He is HomeInspectorSTL.com.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that guy because he wrote on his website that he was ASHI certified and master certified, and this guy probably didn't have 10 inspections under his belt. And it's like, to be master certified, you have to have at least 1,000, and ASHI is 250. So this guy was.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's still in business. I haven't searched.
I think he is. Matter of fact,
gosh,
he was in construction for a long time. He had a good idea. He was a smart guy, but he was just not. Just wasn't nice, if you will, but not a good person. But he did what he did, and really, I thought it would affect me at first, but it never did. It never come down to nothing, So it was still business and all that.
Yeah, you tried a few more guys, and you had one guy. What was his name? He ended up starting his own thing, and he became fairly successful.
Oh yeah, that was a guy about your age. That was I had him. He really wanted just to. He told me whenever he signed on with me that he was going to start his own business.
Oh,
and,
okay.
He wanted to help me out for a while. Yeah, so I helped him out for a little while. He was really up front. He's a smart guy, but he moved back to Wisconsin now, and had to start all over back there. But he wanted to be back more around family. But then I had Steve. I had 2 Steves actually. The first Steve I had was a bricklayer, an old bricklayer from back in the day. He was really good, really, very on, never, not late. He's always there, showed up, stuff like that. But that was in my earlier days where it was harder, to keep him busy, to keep paying him. It's hard to make payroll whenever you're not doing that many jobs. So,
Mm-hmm.
and at first, he wanted to work, whenever we had work, but he needed to work more, as time went on. So he went back into doing what he was going to do. He went back to bricklaying, I think. But after that, I stopped. But I'm the type of person that if you're going to do home inspections, it's hard to. You got to have the gut for it, okay? Because you could hurt someone, you could kill someone, literally. I mean, it affect their life and affect their financials, and all this other stuff. I mean, what we do is very important for these people, and I find it hard just to trust employees to do 70% of what I expect of them. I hear that sometimes on podcasts. Well, as long as they do 80%, we're good to go. No, we're not.
Yeah, no. That,
No,
I don't like that at all. No.
no. That's the reason why I have a pot of money, and I'll just pay it out.
I've heard
If
that.
something comes
That's
back.
the most ridiculous thing.
No. But there's guys out there like that takes that chance, and that's what that's what they think's okay.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's okay. I think it needs to be 100% effort every time. And if you can't give 100%, then we ain't gonna see eye to eye. And that's what's hurting me is that no employee I've ever hired, ever gave it 110% all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I struggle with because I know there's like, if you're going to be an inspector, you have to want to be an inspector and you have to have a passion for what you're doing and enjoy it because you have to treat every house you're inspecting like this was your house you're moving into, and you gotta be on every single day because if you're off a little bit and you miss something, you're going to be in some trouble.
Yeah.
I don't want to hire somebody that's just doing this for a paycheck and they end up missing something and screws me over.
We all miss something every day we do a home inspection. We're never going to find 100% of what's wrong with the house,
Mm-hmm.
but you better find the big stuff and you better
Yeah.
find the stuff that hurts people. In
Yep.
particular, do you always give 110% and find everything you can, but I always thought to myself, I heard, that, oh, there's guys out there that writes these reports that are 2 pages long and 2 pictures, I'm like, that can't be. And then I ran into a few of them. And I'm
Yep.
like, holy cow, they exist, man.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine. And then I look at my own reports and I think, and I don't think there's a lot more educated inspectors than me out there. But I'm thinking to myself, this is the norm. Why wouldn't you talk about A, B, C, and D? You know what I'm saying? This is, in my world, in my head, that's what you're getting paid to do.
Yep.
Not always the case. And
Yeah.
it's unfortunate.
I don't know if I sent this to you. This was like probably 2 years ago, but I came across, it was a friend on Facebook was buying a house that had already been inspected. And he's like, you think I should get another inspection? And he's like, I got the report. And I was like, go ahead and send it to me. And this guy was out of Wentzville. I'm not going to name who he was. But the thing that, before I start this story, the thing you need to know about Missouri is it's the Wild West. There's no licensing requirements or anything like that. So anybody can be a home inspector. But anyways, I get this
barely
report.
any building codes. You know that?
Oh,
there's only a handful of counties that have building codes in Missouri.
Well, and you got every city is on a different cycle, and some cities, making up their own stuff. But anyways, I get this report, and it's 9 pages long, 9-page PDF on this house that's 120 years old. And I'm like, there ain't no way. And I see the cover photo of this house, and I'm like, I see 9 pages right on the front of the house right there of defects.
What's going on with
it? So I go through this report, and I think there's 4 pictures in this whole report. And I'm like, I hope this guy didn't pay more than $50 for this inspection, because there was a disclaimer he didn't get on the roof. And I'm looking at the roof, and I'm like, why wouldn't he not get on that? It had a crawl space. It disclaimed he didn't get in the crawl space. And I'm just like, oh, my goodness gracious. And that's kind of what gives us a bad name, because you get contractors come in after that, and they're like, oh, yeah, the buyer will be like, yeah, the home inspector missed this, or the contractor will be like, oh, the home inspector missed this, and then it starts getting a bad rap for inspectors in general. People start generalizing us. There's really good inspectors, but I feel like not all people, but some people don't want to spend the money on them. They call and they're price shopping, and they pick the cheapest one. And that cheapest one is going to be your 9-page report with 4 pictures. You're not going to get anything special. Anytime I get calls and people are price checking, and I get to call back and I get that inspection, I got to start reevaluating my pricing, because I must have been the low guy that they ended up going with.
you have a sample on your website, don't you?
Yeah, I put my pricing on my website. I don't try to hide it. Some guys are like, don't put your pricing, because then you'll get a call and you could try to make a sale. And it's like, no, I'll just put my pricing. I don't want to waste time on the phone with price shoppers. And I know you put your pricing. Too. Yep.
Yeah.
And I'll check in on guys. I'll see what their pricing is. I know there's one guy out here that starts at $250, and I'm starting at $375. So that just goes to show you how much of a gap there is between that guy, and that guy's got to be losing money. I don't know why he would ever start that low. But like I said, you pay for what you get.
Well, they don't take into consideration the cost of what it takes to actually run the business. I think there's a lot more money if you actually. I just was in that class last night. I sent you that link to. Did you go to that?
I didn't. No, I ended up taking the night off to.
They laid it out. They laid it out, man. Let me tell you, and the amount of money that is put into the business before you turn a profit is just amazing. Now, these were multi-firms, so they're going to have a lot more than us,
Yeah.
But with taxes alone, I don't see how you can make anything off of $250.
Yeah. No, I mean, automatically, I'm assuming $80 to $100 off my inspection goes to taxes. Then you got fuel, which I drive a Jeep Wrangler, and it's awful. I get about 16 and a half tops. Miles per gallon.
Your Jeep Wrangler?
Yeah, I'm working on it, because I'm gonna get a tuner. If anybody knows anything about cars, and try to tune it a little bit and see if I can squeeze a few more out of it. But yeah, it's bad. But anyways, you got fuel, you got insurance is probably one of the biggest things. I don't know what you're paying, but I think I got like 1.5 million. And general liability, and I think it's about $260 a month for that.
Yeah, I got $1 million, so it's about $230 a month, something like that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't go with under $1 million.
You got association fees. So I know you're with Internachi. I'm with Internachi and with ASHI. So there's $100 a month.
Has ASHI did you any good, really?
With Missouri,
or could you go with no Nachi or no ASHI? I mean, honestly, I've had people ask me if I was Nachi or ASHI. Never.
Really?
Like, it's a realtor that asks me every blue moon, twice a year maybe, if I'm ASHI.
Yeah, I mean, I'll get that question occasionally if I'm ASHI certified. And I think that's why I keep it, because realtors here in Missouri, they tend to look for that since there's no licensing. But I'm a member of local ASHI too, so STL ASHI, because they've got good spring and fall conferences.
Seminars.
Yeah. And like they got one coming up on the 17th I'm going to go to. And it's just an easy way to get CEUs, continuing education credits. But
I
yeah,
thought
I
about
mean,
joining it.
I would just because and you get free breakfast and lunch, and you get to talk with other guys, and that's what I like about it. Just like meeting other guys and talking with them. You get some inspectors that are so closed off and they don't want to give away any of their secrets, and like they don't want to risk you taking some of their pie. And it's like there's enough work for everybody, and if you do a good enough job, you're going to be okay. You're going to stay in business, but. Yeah, I mean, I talked to a lot of guys like you and James and Casey and Todd is another guy that's local, and Matt, and we got the Internachi group that we meet every now and then, and I think that helps a lot. But yeah, I mean, I'll probably stay ASHI and Internachi both just to have both of those credentials. Just something extra to possibly make a sale if somebody's looking for that stuff.
So what's ASHI now? About 500 a year or something like that?
Yeah, it's cheaper than Internachi, but Internachi has a lot more education and stuff. That's why I like Internachi. But yeah, ASHI is 45 a month, I think. I was yearly, but then I switched back to monthly when things got slow. But I want to say it's 45,
Oh,
and
you
then
can pay
Internachi's 40.
monthly for ASHI?
Yeah, you can pay monthly. You can do that for Internachi
Really?
too. Internachi's 49 a month. I think ASHI's 45.
And you're just automatically a member.
Yep. But for the St. Louis chapter, like the local chapter, you got to pay a yearly, and it's $250 a year. But that gets you both conferences for free, and and they have monthly meetings for free where you get a free meal as well. So, excuse me.
You go
It
to
all
that
kind
a
of makes
lot?
sense. I don't go to the monthly on those. I just go to the fall and spring seminars.
Okay.
But yeah, that's something to look into because Ruben Saltzman's going to be at the one on March 17th with Structure Tech. So
Really?
that should be a good one.
What's he going to be talking about? Do you know?
I want to say one of the topics was like exterior water management, but I'm not entirely sure. I'd have to look at it again. But he's got a couple different topics he's going to be talking about.
If you guys, Ruben Saltzman is, I would say, the most sought after person to look for education when it comes to podcaster and what else he does?
He's
He
got
does all
that
kinds
blog
of
that if you type
blogs. Yeah.
anything in on that blog, like if you go to Google and you search on how to fix anything, his blog probably comes up. he's definitely somebody to follow in terms of copying how he blogs and how he does marketing because he's really good at it.
Well, just to learn off of just to learn the business.
Mm-hmm.
Type something in and read what he's talking about. And he tells you, at a home inspector's perspective, not a contractor, not rebuilding it, but he tells you at a home inspector's perspective what he's looking at, and things like that. And he's pretty detailed. I like it. That's
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I was going to talk to you about. Casey Barley, he's awesome. I like him. I was watching you guys just the other day. I pulled your podcast up. I was like, what do you mean there's only one? I was waiting to watch 10 of them, right? I was like, I didn't know you just started it. And
Yeah, you're number two.
no, yeah. And I do like Casey Bartley, but one thing that I think that he does, that is different than most home inspectors is he's a weeds guy. He gets down into the weeds way more than what most people do, And
Mm-hmm.
looking at his template, looking at what he, and stuff like that, he's got a very long template. Very, talks all kinds of stuff, and that's great. If you want to go that route, that's fine. But I think what's his face? Who we talking about? Saltzman.
Yeah, Ruben.
I think he's in the middle of a typical home inspector and Casey Bartley.
Yeah.
He sits in that middle range when it comes to his reports and stuff like that. So they're both great to learn off of. Their templates and stuff like that too. And anybody who's starting a business and you guys are creating crap from scratch, knock it off. I mean, there's guys out there that's selling these templates now. Spend the $500 and then alter it as you wish, because it's will save you all kinds of time and money.
Yeah,
And headache.
you could buy Casey's template and you could just read it and learn how to home inspect. Like you can learn home inspection just reading his defect comments, because he includes all those illustrations and everything, and it's a great template. And yeah, Ruben's website, you can learn a lot off of that website too, and his podcast. He's got a good podcast.
I would say between the two of them, you could learn how to learn the business in general. Between
Absolutely,
the two of their stuff.
Yeah, Ruben's website is basically what got me into doing a blog on my website, because I found his and I was like, yeah, I want to do this, because that's also what helps you rank, is if you're constantly updating your website with new content, that'll rank in Google. And then when he started his podcast, that's what made me want to start mine. And I've been sitting on this idea for probably 2 years. And I'm like, oh, I'll try to do something with it next week. And I just kept doing that. And finally, this beginning of this week, I was like, I'm just going to do it. I spent $80. I got a nice web camera. I got this. I'll show you this microphone right here.
You only spent $80 to start this?
Yeah, Amazon.
Wow.
So. Yeah,
so the software is the podcast. So this here that we're looking at, Riverside.
Yeah, this is like $15 a month, I think, is what it costs. But it records in 4K, which hopefully this turns out okay. And then you could just export, the video and the audio files, and then I'll put them on Apple and Spotify, because I've got this on Apple and Spotify, and then I'll do the video on YouTube.
Well, that's cool.
Yep.
Huh. No,
all right, Billy.
But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to get out of here, buddy.
Yeah, I think.
No, I just want to say, keep up what you're doing. Keep up the good work, man. Seriously.
Where can everybody find you? Because I know, and by the way, if you're a member of any Facebook group, Home Inspector Exchange was created by Billy, and I think that's like the most, there's the most amount of people in that group than any other group. But
I think we're actually third. We're third.
Third? Okay.
Yeah, something like that. But
it's a good group.
But yeah, Home Inspector Exchange Group is what he's talking about, and we got about 10,000 people there now. And it's a very, if you want to know something, type it in there and look for it, because it's probably there talked about. But anybody can find me at stlhomeinspector.com, bookatpros.com if you need a call center. And if you guys ever need any help, just let me know. I'd be more than happy to help you.
Awesome. And I'll link all that stuff in the description, so people can get direct link to that stuff. So I appreciate your time, Billy. It's always good to talk to you.
You ever need anything at all, give me a holler.
All right, we'll do. Hopefully we stay busy this year.
Yep.